Hi there, David here, and in this video we'll be redesigning the axe recall from God of War. Alright, so for this redesign, I had three main layers that I had in mind that I wanted to recreate. The first and the main one was going to be the wood impact when he catches it back into his hand. The second one was going to be the whoosh layer as the axe is flying through the air. And then the last one is going to be some sort of magical element, magical spell sound, because of course this is a flying axe, right? So I want to have these three layers, so wood, whoosh, and magic. All right, so before we jump into our session and actually break these down layer by layer, how I design them, if you're a sound designer and you want to learn how to create better sound effects, I put together a short guide of 5 different layering techniques. It is my 5 layering techniques guide that you can use to create better sound effects. So if you want to grab that, it'll be free. Links will be in the description below. All right, let's get into our session. All right, so the first thing I'd like to do is play the actual audio from the game so that we have some sort of reference point. All right, now let's have a listen to the redesign, and then we'll break it down. All right, so like I said, the first layer that I really want to focus on was going to be this wood layer. And there's a lot going on in here, so let's have a look. All right, so the first thing is I'm just going to bypass all of the group sound effects, all the group effects that I have on here. So I have an EQ, recenter, and uber loud. So let's go into this first sound here. It's just a plain wood impact just by hitting 2 pieces of wood together. And here you can see I increase some of the lows and the mids just to bring those out. So without it and with it. Just makes it a lot more prominent. All right, my next layer here, I had a designed wood. So this is a pre-made sound I made, and I just dragged and dropped it into here. Sounds like this. And it's just, I designed that with a bunch of wood sounds. So this is the actual sound, and it was quite bassy, like really way too much. So I cut out a lot of the lows here. And then I also added track spacer, and this is just so it doesn't mask other frequencies in the sound. Third layer, another wood hit. Again, pushing out all the mids and the lows, which is where a lot of that nice wood sound is. So far we have this. Sounds okay. It's a little high end, high pitched. So let's keep it going here. So this is another wood sample. I didn't add any effects to this. Next down here. Again, I'm just layering other wood sounds. Then finally down here, this is a big one. This is the tonal part of the wood sound. And this is actually not even wood at all. It's just a kick. So this is a kick I designed, dragged it into here, and this is what it sounds like. So I'm actually going to remove these effects here. You'll notice it's very wide, which doesn't make sense in this context. So I put in recenter, narrowed it quite a lot. Added an EQ to cut some of the lows because I already had some from up here. And then just the gain just to balance it because I like to balance it with effects. Right, so now if we play everything together, this is what we have. So if I take this off, you got a nice wood sound. But with this, you get a tonal sound. It's quite subtle. Yeah, it's a bit subtle, but I find it makes a big difference. All right, so once I had these layers in, then it was just a matter of coming in here, putting a bit of compression, because it was quite transient heavy. I didn't need that. Next, recenter to center the sound. Make sure everything was in the center. And then uber loud here, just pushing out all of the sound. So without it, and then with it. You see here, I'm also using the clipper. All right, so that's our wood layer. All right, let's move on now to our next layer, which is going to be our whoosh layer. Sounds like this. And you'll notice if you pay really close attention, they're all kind of hitting at different points. So let's break it down so we can actually hear this in context. You'll see here, I have nothing on the bus. Here's the first layer. Actually, this one's muted. Let's have a listen to this one here. And this is a whoosh just from a weapon swing, like whooshing stuff in front of my microphone. I put it on here, M transformer to bring the frequency shift down. So without it, it sounds like this. With it. Right, I wanted something with a lot more body and weight to it, so that is helping a lot. Next, I had this layer here. And this is a fire whoosh that I had from before, and I just did a fade in. So let's have a listen. Right, very low end, a lot of fuzz and distortion. Not really exactly what I was looking for, so let's see how I transform that. So I used M transformer, did a bit of frequency shifting, pitch shifting, format shift. Sounds like that. Starting to get a bit nicer. Next, I added an EQ to cut some of the lows. And recenter. And I'm actually modulating this. You can see here I'm modulating the width over time. So that as it's getting closer, it feels like it's getting wider in the stereo field. So it feels like it's really in your face. So when it's far away, it's really centered. And then as it gets closer, the width is huge. And this is a nice trick that you can use with width to give a nice sense of distance for sounds. All right, so together now we have these 2 layers. Sounds like this. And now let's go to our magic layer. And this one is really helping the whoosh layer. So let's have a listen here. So this is a pre-made sound that I dragged and dropped in here of different whooshes and spell sounds that I put together. I just did a nice fade in because if not, it'd be too loud. It just didn't make sense. So now with this, right, just by itself, it sounds pretty good. I'm going to take off track spacer here. Right, that's what it sounds like with track spacer. This is actually taking the signal from the wood and then ducking the magic layer here, this layer, when the wood hits. So that's why you're feeling it and hearing it like dip really quickly, right at the impact point. But together now with the swoosh layer, sounds like this. So let's have a listen to everything in context now. All right, I hope you found that useful and valuable. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. And just a reminder to grab that free guide, the 5 Layering Techniques guide. Links will be in the description. All right, if you want to see some more God of War sound redesigns that I've done, I'll put them up here. I actually made 2. One was of different wood shattering sound effects from God of War, and then the other one was the nightmare creatures from God of War, and I redesigned both of those, so if you want to check it out, the links will be up there. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.